Hello BookTube, welcome to Lizzie Faye Loves Books. I'm Elizabeth and it's day 4 of Vlogmas. I think it's about time I did my December TBR. So I counted, I believe, 8 books that I either need to read or finish reading for the Around the Year in 52 Books Challenge and the Pop Sugar Ultimate Reading Challenge. I had hoped to get more of those read in November, but with the traveling and everything, I did what I could do. And so now what I have left, though, is not very long. It's not really going to take up the whole month. So I have some Christmas books lined up as well that I hope to get to during the month. So my first priority, though, is going to be to finish those big challenges because I want to do the wrap-ups for those challenges during Vlogmas. So if you saw my Friday reads, you know I have started Inkspell. Now, I was not sure how to pronounce the author's name, but on the audio, Brendan Fraser is the one who narrates it, and he pronounces it Cornelia Funke. It kind of just a little breath, the E on the end is not really silent, but it's not really pronounced. It's just kind of a little sound on the end. So now I thought it was exciting that I can now pronounce her name. And then I'm over halfway done with the Mammoth Hunters by Jean M. Auel. And again, with name pronunciations. When I listened to Clan of the Cave Bear on audio, that was when I first realized that her name is not Awl. It is pronounced Owl, like O-W-L. So if you have wondered how you pronounce this last name, now you know. And then on my Kindle, I am also reading a novella called The Great Turkey Caper by Madison Johns. So now the other books I need to read to complete the challenges. One of the prompts is to read a translated book, and I had this on my TBR, The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. Now, I really, really want to read this, and in fact, we have decided to put this on our reading list for next year's book club at the library. I'm just not sure that I want to take the time to read this big of a book right now with all the other stuff that I need to read and want to read. So I thought I would fall back on an old standby because the Geronimo Stilton series is actually translated, I believe, from Italian. This is a kid series that my daughter Katie read a good bit of when she was in elementary school. And I read this first book, Lost Treasure of Emerald Eye, last year because I had a prompt to read a translated book. So I discovered recently that the library actually has on CD the first 3 Geronimo Stilton books, and so I will probably go ahead and skip the first one since I've already read that, and I will listen to the second and maybe the third one because they're not very long. The second one is The Curse of the Cheese Pyramid, and the third one is Cat and Mouse in Haunted House. So this will fulfill the challenge to read a translated book, and I will get back to this one next year when it's time to read it for book club. I've got to read a political memoir, and so I picked up God, Guns, Grits, and Gravy by Mike Huckabee. And then I'm going to read Faith, which is the first in the Brides of the West collection. And this is a bind-up of 3 books, and so for the challenge, though, I just need to read the first one. I also need to read a book of satire, so I have chosen to read The Phantom Toll Booth by Norton Juster. And then I need to read a book recommended by a family member, so I am going to pick up So Deadly by Elizabeth Lynn Casey. It's the first in the Southern Sewing Circle mystery series that my sister has been wanting me to read for 3 years. Alright, I have a couple of other books that are not holiday related, but I would like to get to them this month. This is A Deadly Grind by Victoria Hamilton. This is the first book in the Vintage Kitchen Mystery Series. This was one of our November picks for the first in series Cozy Mystery Book Club that is hosted by Di. And I am reading The Great Turkey Caper right now, but it's a novella, so it was kind of a little extra added book that we picked for November. And so I want to get to this one, and I was thinking I'd have to put it off, but I found the audio of it on Hoopla. So I just downloaded that, so I can listen to it on my phone when I'm out and about and don't have anything else to listen to. And then one other book that's not holiday related, but I would like to finish this series. I read a couple of the Maze Runner series already this year, and I would like to go ahead and listen to Fever Code so that I can check that series off my list for 2016. And I don't think it's very long, so I was excited to find it on audio at the library. Now, the rest of the books I have are Christmas themed books. I know that I'm not going to get to all of them, but I would like to read as many of them as I can, so I thought I would show you what I have. This would check another series off my list. This is Santa in Montana by Janet Daly. I have read the entire Calder saga by Janet Daly several years ago, and then this last book came out maybe 3 years after the book previous to it in the series. So I just Haven't read it yet, but I was thinking about trying to finish up a series for this year, and I found this at one of the used bookstores that I go to sometimes, and so I was excited to find it. This is about a ranch family in Montana, and I have really enjoyed this series. I have an audiobook that would also finish a series for me. This is by Richard Peck, A Season of Gifts. This is the third book in a series by Richard Peck. The first two books are A Long Way from Chicago and A Year Down Yonder. And I can't remember now which of those comes first and which one comes second, but they are hilarious. It's a middle grade series that I just love, and I didn't even realize till recently that there was a third book, and it's Christmas themed, so here it is. Another series book I would like to get to, this is The Christmas Cookie Killer by Olivia J. Washburn. This is the third book in the Fresh Baked Mystery series. I've read the first two books, so it makes sense to go ahead and read this third book this month since it's a Christmas theme. Another series book that I am ready for is Christmas in Harmony by Philip Gulley. This is book 2.5 in the Harmony series, and I have read the first two books, so it's time to read this one. If you saw my Saturday Shelfie tour yesterday, I showed you all of my A through J books, and I have quite a collection of Elizabeth Berg books. I had already pulled this one off the shelf because I noticed that it is a Christmas theme book. It's called The Handmade and the Carpenter, and I don't know if I'll get to it, but this would be a good time to read it because I had said one of my goals was to read at least something from all of the collected authors that I had never read. So I have several of her books, and if I could get this one read, that would check that goal off my list for this year. This one looks hilarious. Emily Sears told me that Kinky Friedman, I believe, ran for governor of Texas. I don't know if he ever was governor of Texas, but this is called The Christmas Pig. Again, it's a very short book, but it just looks super cute, and I picked this up at a book sale quite a while ago, and I think it's going to be hilarious. I would like to read at least the first three of this series this year. This is by Donna Van Leer. I have The Christmas Shoes, The Christmas Blessing, and The Christmas Hope. Another book I picked up at a book sale that just looks hilarious, A Very Dairy Christmas by Sylvia Hyson. I may put this one off yet again because we were putting together our list for book club for 2017, and this is going to be our December book for next year. However, I already had it in the stack, and I've started it, but I just got about a chapter into it. It looks like it's going to be hilarious. I've heard it recommended, and it's Skipping Christmas by John Grisham. I believe that the movie adaptation of this book is Christmas with the Cranks. I don't think I've seen that movie either, but I've heard of it. And so this just looks like it will be a lot of fun. Now for our December book club pick for this year, we are reading The Mistletoe Promise by Richard Paul Evans. And I found another book in that collection called The Mistletoe Inn at the Bookmobile, and so I have them both checked out. They're both really short. These are from a collection of 3 stories by Richard Paul Evans. They're all standalones, and the third one is called Mistletoe Secret. Well, we're talking about Richard Paul Evans. I read the Christmas box last year, and I really enjoyed it, and I discovered that there are 2 more books in this series. I don't have them checked out yet from the library, but they are called Timepiece and The Letter, so I would like to get to those if I have time. And one more I put in my stack. This is by Jill Shalvis, Christmas in Lucky Harbor. This is actually a bind-up of the first 2 Lucky Harbor books. And I was told by another booktuber that they didn't remember the first 2 books being Christmas themed. So I don't know. Maybe there is maybe there's a mention of Christmas. I'm not really sure. But it does look like there's something Christmassy about this book. And I don't know if I'll get these read. It's pretty big. It's 2 full books. But I have been hearing a lot about Jill Shalvis, and I would like to give her series a try. So I have had this one on my shelf for a little while, and it makes sense to start here because this is the first 2 books. And then when I was doing my Saturday Shelfie tour, I discovered a couple of Christmas themed books that were still on the shelf that I had not pulled. I have 'Tis the Season by Lorna Landvik and The Gift by Cecilia Ahern. So again, I know I'm not going to get to all of these books, but I wanted to at least just pull out the Christmas books and be able to pick and choose. I'm going to put these on my staging shelf, which is one of the shelves I have where I put the books that I'm currently reading or could potentially read this month, and then I will just have fun choosing which ones I want to read whenever the mood strikes me. But of course, first of all, I have to finish those challenge books, and then I will move on to the Christmas. So that's all I have for this video. I would love to hear about what you're reading. If you have some other Christmas books that you would recommend, then let me know, and maybe I can add those to my TBR for next year. So I hope you're having a great day. Read a good book, and God bless you.